No, see?
Oh.
Is everybody there?
Here. Alright. Hold up. I'm using a wine glass, don't mind.
Can you guys all kind of see or hear or get together?
Hold up. Okay. One moment. Okay.
So how do you want me to, like, I'm not even sure how to do this.
Why don't you give us to somebody else? They can hand us off.
I can do it.
Not if you this person. Sorry, guys, but yeah.
From back there? Or, no, this is okay.
Turn it the other way, then. Turn it so that it's landscape.
Is that good?
Yeah, that's better.
Can you guys see?
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, thank you all for being here, tonight. Obviously, it's a historic evening. It's a historic evening for Michigan and for the people of Allegan County. And so I think it's good that you're here. It's been a long road, and honestly, I'm a pretty private person, so this idea of cameras and media is something I've really had to try to overcome. But why I allowed you guys to be in my home tonight and be part of this tonight is because I think it is important for the people to see what's happening and for the people to be part of the process, for the people to be engaged in their government. This election and all elections are really, it's not about me, it's about the people and the voice of the people. And without that voice for the people, we don't have a representative government. We don't have the government that our founders intended, of the people, by the people, and for the people. And, the reason we're here tonight, when we look at that, we have to actually look back at what has happened and what has brought us here tonight. Since this is no normal election. I ran for state representative in the last election, not as a politician, but one of the reasons I ran is because of the chasm in the divide between what I saw was the government and leadership in politicians and the voice of the people and what the people were wanting. So I ran just as a regular person, as a nurse, as a mom, as someone who's passionate about freedom and passionate about my state and my family and the issues in our nation. And what I saw was, and what I was frustrated with is it seemed to me that the voice of the people was not being heard in our government. And sorry if you guys are looking for 30-second sound bites. I don't really do it that way. But that's why I ran. And so after I won and after I was elected, to me that was paramount, that I followed through on the promises that I made to the people of the district. And I tried to be transparent on what I ran on, protecting the life of the unborn and our Second Amendment and liberty and limited government. And so it was very difficult to be in that bubble and that scenario in Lansing, where on the very first day they ask you to submit that vote and to sign that pledge where you turn that vote of the people over to the caucus. And that was just something I couldn't do. I think what's most important and what's most concerning to me about what has happened and what brings us here tonight is that divide and is that in a way blatant disrespect that I see in government about the voice and the will of the people and the voter. And I think you can look at Prop 1 as just a great example where the people spoke loud and clear. 81% in my county, they didn't want their taxes raised, but yet we see the state legislature turning around and raising taxes anyway. So
then will you say something about the outcome today?
I'm getting there, but we're here tonight because of this reason. And so, going through all this, why did I keep fighting? Why did I not quit on the people of Allegan? It's because it's their voice that's important, and through this process, their voice wasn't heard. And we need to be concerned when we allow Lansing politicians to take away the voice. The people of Allegan County had their representation taken away. Sure. And the only fourth time it's happened in Michigan, and I feel unjustly. But what is most important is that the people have a voice in all this, and that's why we're here tonight. Because I felt like it should be their decision to make of representation and not Lansing politicians. And so I have a piece with how it turned out because it was the voters' decision. I want to thank some people. I want to thank God first and foremost. Without my faith and without Him, there is no way I could have made it through these last few months. Obviously, my family, who my husband and my children are actually down in Florida right now. He has a conference. It happened to be this week at Walt Disney, and my kids wanted to stay and be here with me, but I told them to go, not to miss that trip. So they're FaceTiming in right now and down there in Florida. And I absolutely couldn't have done this and wouldn't have done this without their support and their encouragement along the way. They've worked hard
Well, did you
to
know
get me elected.
early on, before today, that this was going to be the likely result?
I wasn't sure. It actually went pretty well at the doors, and I've been saying that all along. And, I've been doing doors every day, and I think a lot of healing happened. But there was only such a short time to campaign. I think what's hardest about that whole situation is, my infidelity was wrong, but I don't think it warranted and merited the maligning of my character that I had on me and my family day after day in the news. But again, I think ultimately what's most important is that the people have a voice in our government. And I believe, and I did try to stand up for their voice as best as I could while I was there, regardless of the consequences that it had on me. So.
And now that the people have spoken, what is next for Cindy Gamrat?
I don't know. We'll see what God has in store, a new chapter. I don't know if it'll involve politics or not. I think I might, I'll just pray about it and see what happens from here. We'll obviously talk as a family and get together. But I did want to also thank another group of people, and a lot of them are here tonight, and that's the volunteers. And I couldn't have went through the 6 weeks without them either. And they've done a lot, and they've stuck by me, and they've been loyal, and I really appreciate them too.
Would you say anything to the voters who first elected you and now tonight did not elect you? Any thought to share with them?
I just want them to know that regardless of what they've heard or what they believe, I worked really hard for them while I was there. It was a tremendous honor to serve. And I gave it my all. And I did the best I could and worked hard for them. So I think my record speaks to that. I think anybody who looks at my record will see that.
Do you feel at all that you let any of them down, though, who might have supported you your first run and who didn't support you now?
Sure, I let a lot of people down, and I had a personal failure that I let myself down, my family down. I let a lot of people down with that, and when that happens in your life, you have to decide how you're going to deal with it. And I tried to do the best I could to admit to it and take responsibility for it. Sincerely apologize for it. It was something that we were already working through for months before it hit national TV, but I'm sure I let some people down.
Do you feel like your decision to run prolonged the exposure and pain for your family?
It hasn't been easy, that's for sure. It has been hard, but what I said on the House floor is sometimes the easiest path isn't the right one, and sometimes it's how you deal with adversity and trying to step forward the best that you can. And so I think a lot of healing has come from it, and I don't regret it at all. I don't, out knocking on the doors and meeting with the voters, I think healing has already started, and I think that was an important step in the whole process, to give them that opportunity to share with me their thoughts and their feelings about all of it.
Is this a weight off your shoulders at all?
A little bit, yeah. It's been a hard road, and we worked really hard. We've given it our best. I'm exhausted. I know most of the people here are exhausted because they walked a lot of miles with me. So, you just do the best you can, and at the end of the day, that's all you can do.
Has there been any conversation with Mr.